Well, hello again, YouTube. It's Petey Two Finger. The sad and the bad news continues. Today, I saw a Facebook post, and it's a Beat Tour Facebook post. Help support Thomas the Wizard Nordegg, our dear friend Thomas, affectionately known as the Wizard by Adrian Belew. As tech to both Adrian and Tony Levin, he has been a vital part of the Beat Tours and countless other musical journeys, supporting artists with his unmatched skill, humor, and heart. Recently, Thomas was involved in a devastating accident while riding his beloved scooter near the intersection of Laurel Canyon and Ventura Boulevard in LA. He was struck by a car, leaving him with serious injuries and extensive medical needs. Thomas now faces a long and difficult road to recovery. As a self-employed tech, he is unable to work, resulting in complete loss of income, while medical and living expenses continue to mount. He also hopes to return to his homeland of Vienna, Austria, where his love of music first began, when he is strong enough to travel. We're asking for your help to raise $46,000 to cover his medical bills, transportation, and relocation expenses so he can fully focus on his healing. Thomas has spent his life helping others make music. Now it's our turn to help him get back to music where he belongs. So, Thomas, when Adrian calls him the Wizard, if you know anything about Thomas, he is an astounding human being. And his knowledge and his skill as it relates to guitar technology is unrivaled. Thomas was Frank Zappa's tech, his video operator, cameraman, camera person. Steve Vai. Thomas was Steve Vai's guitar tech for many years after Frank's passing. And more recently, he's worked with all kinds of people, but more recently, I had the chance to shake his hand on the Beat Tour, which was King Crimson music. That's Adrian Belew, Tony Levin, with Danny Carey on drums, and Steve Vai filling in the role of Robert Fripp's guitar parts. So I have a great story relating to my meeting of him and shaking his hand, and I feel incredibly blessed that I did pursue that. I had a hunch he was going to be there. I wasn't sure. I didn't know if he was working on the Beat Tour, but I thought, well, out of any show I've ever been to, the probability that he's going to be at this show is really high. And I went on a mission to shake his hand, and I accomplished that goal. And that was due to the generosity of him. I had made my way up to the front. I had a seat one row from the back of the venue. I had a really bad seat. And I made my way to the very front to look at the gear up close. And there was another guy who I met. He was up there oogling at the gear as well. And he looked at me, and we both kind of shook our heads like, oh my goodness, this is some really cool setup. The gear was pretty choice. And I began a conversation with this guy. He had flown in from Miami to Chicago just to see this show. And I began speaking with him, and somehow the conversation came to, do you know who Thomas Nordegg is? And he said no. And I said, well, he's this little white-haired old German, actually he's Austrian gentleman, who looks like he's somebody's grandpa, but he's the man behind the curtain. This is James Bond of guitar, Q. And I had sooner finished the description of him, and he said, oh, is that him standing right there? I turned, and here he is, tuning Baloo's Mustang. And I said, excuse me, I have to go try and meet this guy. I'm sorry. And I ran away from my new friend. And I'm yelling, Mr. Nordegg, please, holding my hand out like I just want to shake your hand. And he's tuning the Mustang. It's 2 minutes to curtain, and he's scowling at me because he knows I'm just some fish head, and I want to shake his hand. So he scowls at me and he points at his watch, and I wouldn't leave and I wouldn't stop vocalizing, please. So he came down and he graciously shook my hand and said, you do realize it's 2 minutes till curtain. And then he booked off. So at the end of the show, spirits were really high. After the Beat tour, people were floating. And I was walking around the venue just talking to people. I had a very specific t-shirt on that people were excited about because it was a custom print, and that sure does not exist. And people recognized it and were freaking out about my shirt. So I was telling them a story relating to how my daughter had this shirt printed for me, and how I had met an 11-year-old Mr. Bungle fan because of wearing the self-titled Bungle t-shirt that my daughter had printed for my birthday. And I figured, chances are I could hang around and force my way into the meet and greet, or somehow bump elbows with these guys, with Steve and Tony and Danny's the only one I haven't really met. Although I've never met Steve, but I saw him fourth row, so it feels like I know him. So I ended up just walking to the car. I saw a group of people out by the bus that were hoping to have something signed, even though they didn't pay for the meet and greet. And I was tempted. I was tempted to go over there with these people and see them, Adrian and the guys, run out of the venue and get into the bus and be one of those people. And I thought, you know what? No. I've already done enough damage. I had my chance, and I got to shake the hand of this guy, Thomas Nordegg. I mean, if you don't know who this guy is and you're watching this video, you should type his name into YouTube. And people have interviewed him in this room, this picture that we're looking at right now. And it's funny because he plays Beatles standards on this guitar that's got a Sustainiac and a MIDI pickup and LED lighting and piezo, and it's just got everything. It's supreme. It's fully loaded. And that rack, his rack and his pedal setup, it's just unbelievable. So take it from me, I shook the man's hand, and that was enough for me. I bypassed getting a chance to meet Steve Vai and Danny Carey, and getting to reconnect with my friend Adrian Ballou. My wife and I have been to his home in Williams Bay. And yes, we're on first name basis with Adrian and Martha. So if you find it in your heart to help this guy out, he's 58% of the way towards the goal. I'm doing what I can do to help Thomas by sharing this video with you. So however you choose to help, if you can't afford, you can share. You can share. And that's important. Whether it's sharing my video or sharing the link to the GoFundMe, the most important thing is that you do something to help this poor guy out. I cannot believe this sad news today. Thank goodness he's still with us. Sad news today. And there's a lot of this going around lately. It's the next 5-10 years are going to be brutal as far as losing these people who are responsible for making the music that's become the soundtrack of our lives. So here's a chance where you could help out someone who has spent their life helping others make music. Best to you, Mr. Nordegg, a true gentleman of rock and roll, the wizard.